Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother and sister, welcome back to Islamic Notes channel. The American billionaire who found Islam, a life-changing spiritual journey. In a world filled with the glitter of wealth and prestige, many people are satisfied with their material achievements. However, many also feel that there is an emptiness in life despite having achieved everything. So it was with the journey of an American billionaire woman who at some point in her life found Islam. This story is not only about changing her religion, but also about spiritual transformation and the search for a deeper meaning in life. The woman in question is Cynthia, a successful billionaire who is widely known among the global business elite. She has it all: a mansion, luxury cars, unlimited wealth, and great influence in many sectors. However, all of that was not enough to satisfy her deep curiosity about the purpose of life. Ultimately, her search led her to Islam, a religion that not only provided a clearer guidance for life, but also brought her the peace she had been looking for. Cynthia's journey is not just a story that focuses on changing her religion, but also explores the history and origins of the Islamic religion that has inspired millions of people around the world. Through this journey, we will also understand more deeply about how Islam not only touches on spiritual aspects, but also culture, history, and philosophy that have developed for more than 14 centuries. Life before searching for meaning. Cynthia was born in a small town in the United States in the early 1970s. From a young age, she showed signs of extraordinary intelligence and a drive to achieve great things. After graduating from a prestigious university, Cynthia entered the business world and began building her financial empire. In a short time, she managed to establish an innovative technology company, which then grew rapidly and brought her to the peak of wealth. However, despite having everything, Cynthia felt an emptiness that was difficult to explain. Her success in the business world did not give her the inner satisfaction she had hoped for. While many around her were fascinated by the luxury of her life, she began to feel a deep spiritual exhaustion. The desire to find a deeper meaning in life began to drive her to explore various philosophies and spiritualities, including those from outside Western culture. The life of a billionaire is not always synonymous with the luxury and happiness that is seen on the outside. Sometimes behind this success, there is a long journey full of challenges, self-discovery, and a deeper understanding of the meaning of life. One interesting example is the story of Cynthia, an American billionaire woman who once felt empty despite having everything. Before achieving her extraordinary success, Cynthia had to first face the bitter reality of her life and what she truly wanted. Challenging youth. Cynthia was born in a small town in America, to a simple family. Her father was a small businessman, while her mother was a teacher. Although they were not rich, Cynthia's family always taught her the importance of hard work and strong moral values. However, Cynthia felt that something was missing in her life since she was little. She always felt underappreciated, even though on the outside it seemed that she had a good life. At school, Cynthia often felt isolated. She had many friends, but she always felt like there was an invisible wall separating her from the people around her. This became an emotional burden that continued to disturb her thoughts and feelings. A career journey filled with ambition. After graduating from university, Cynthia began a career in the business world. With her extraordinary intelligence and ability to see opportunities in untapped markets, she quickly gained attention. Every step she took brought success, and in a relatively short time, Cynthia began to amass a fortune that could not be underestimated. However, even though she continued to move forward and achieve everything she wanted, her heart kept asking, "Is this enough? Will all this money and power give meaning to my life?" Cynthia felt an emptiness that could not be filled by money or fame. She felt trapped in a cycle of achieving more, never feeling truly satisfied or happy. Searching for the meaning of life. At one point in her career, Cynthia experienced a major turning point. One night, when she was at the peak of her success and in the midst of extraordinary luxury, Cynthia felt empty. She decided to change the direction of her life, leaving most of the businesses and relationships that had kept her busy. Cynthia decided to travel around the world, seeking inner peace and a deeper understanding of herself. During her travels, Cynthia visited various places in Asia, Africa, and Europe. She met people who had a very different way of life from her own. Many of them did not have material wealth, but they seemed happier and more at peace in their lives. There, Cynthia learned a lot about simpler living and the importance of relationships. She met a monk in Nepal who taught her about the importance of focusing on a more spiritual life and not just worldly achievements. Self-transformation. Cynthia returned to America with a new outlook on life. She did not leave the business world completely, but she began to allocate her time to more meaningful activities. She started a foundation to help the less fortunate and provide education to children in impoverished areas. She also began practicing meditation and mindfulness, which helped her to better understand her own feelings and find deeper happiness. Cynthia now began to feel the true meaning of life. She realized that true wealth is not just about abundant possessions, but about how she can positively impact others and live a life filled with gratitude and inner peace. Searching for deeper meaning. At some point, Cynthia began to be interested in spiritual teachings outside of Christianity, the religion she had grown up with. She read many books about the world's major religions, from Buddhism to Hinduism, but she could not find the peace she was looking for. Then one day, an old friend from a Muslim family gave her a book about Islamic teachings. The book explained basic concepts in Islam, such as monotheism, tawhid, the importance of prayer, the concept of charity, and a comprehensive guide to life. As she read the book, Cynthia felt as if something clicked inside her. The Islamic teachings on the balance between this world and the hereafter, as well as the concept of social justice contained in the Quran, deeply appealed to Cynthia. However, despite her interest, she was hesitant to immediately embrace a religion that was not widely known in the United States. Her spiritual search continued until one day she met a Muslim woman who shared her experiences. The conversation opened Cynthia's eyes to the depth of peace that could be found in Islamic teachings. The woman not only explains the theory, but also shows how Islamic teachings are applied in everyday life. Cynthia was born into a middle-class family in the suburbs of New York. Since childhood, she has shown extraordinary talent in the world of business and economics. However, despite having the opportunity to learn and develop, she felt that something was missing in her life. The material wealth that she had pursued since she was young never gave her true satisfaction. At the age of 30, Cynthia decided to launch a technology company, which later became a huge success. She became the first woman to enter the Forbes Billionaire list in this field. However, the more money she accumulated, the more she felt the emptiness. Material success and popularity did not give her the peace she was looking for. Personal crisis and the search for meaning. At the peak of her success, Cynthia felt an emptiness that was increasingly disturbing her. Her relationship with her family and friends began to grow apart because of her excessive focus on business. She began to feel isolated, trapped in a routine that only led to material achievement and social status. These feelings peaked after a personal event that shook her life. Cynthia lost the closest person to whom she had always been a place to confide and seek support. This loss forced her to pause and question her purpose in life. What's the point of all this if I end up just feeling empty, she thought. That's when she began her search for deeper meaning, appreciating the process, seeking greater purpose. Cynthia began exploring various spiritual and philosophical approaches. She read books on mindfulness, meditation, and Eastern philosophy. She also involved herself in charity work, which helped her realize that true happiness is not found in wealth, but in giving and sharing with others. This process was not easy. Cynthia faced many uncertainties and doubts. However, the more she explored the world outside herself, the more she felt that the search for true meaning was not about finding immediate answers, but rather about taking the journey mindfully. Self-transformation and returning to the roots. Cynthia finally made a big decision to change the way she viewed wealth and success. She began to shift her focus from personal achievement to greater contribution to society. Her business, which was once focused only on profit, was now shifting to supporting innovations that could have a positive impact on the world, especially in the fields of education and health. In addition, she became more active in giving her time and resources to various social initiatives that focused on empowering women and children from underprivileged backgrounds. Cynthia also began to embrace her family again, spending more time with them and learning to feel the depth of more meaningful personal relationships. Achieving true meaning. Over time, Cynthia felt more at peace with herself. She no longer saw wealth as the ultimate goal, but rather as a tool to realize the greater good. Cynthia understood that the search for meaning in life is not a journey that ends in one step, but rather an ongoing process. In her interviews with the media, Cynthia often shares that although she is still trying to grow her business, what is more important to her is making a positive impact. I learned that true meaning in life is not found through wealth or material achievement. It is found in giving and inspiring and in living life with full awareness and love, he said. Tracing the origins of Islam. After learning more about Islamic teachings, Cynthia felt increasingly interested in digging deeper into the origins of this religion. Islam, which emerged in the 7th century on the Arabian Peninsula, spread rapidly throughout the world, creating a great civilization that influenced many aspects of life, from science to art and culture. Cynthia learned that Islam was founded by the Prophet Muhammad, who received revelations from God through the angel Gabriel. These revelations were then compiled in the holy book of the Quran. Islam teaches its followers to live according to God's guidance by practicing worship such as prayer, Zakat, fasting, and Hajj. All of this aims to achieve a life full of blessings and goodness, both in this world and in the hereafter. In her research, Cynthia also found inspiring stories from Islamic history, such as the golden age of Islamic civilization in Baghdad, Cordoba, and Istanbul. How Muslims at that time not only mastered science, but also created extraordinary art and architecture. Major discoveries in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine came from Muslim scientists who lived centuries before the Renaissance in Europe. Cynthia increasingly understands that Islam is not just a religion, but also a way of life that includes ethics, morality, and principles of social justice that are very relevant to the challenges of the modern world. Cynthia, an American billionaire woman, is known as a successful figure in the business world. Although famous for her extraordinary achievements in the economic field, few know her deep spiritual journey. One important phase in her life was when she began to trace the origins of Islam, a religion that opened up new perspectives on life, wisdom, and deeper meaning. This journey not only changed her view of the world, but also led her to find the inner peace she had been looking for. In this script, we will follow Cynthia's journey in seeking an understanding of Islam, how she found a deeper spiritual path, and how it affected her life as a successful woman. Life before the spiritual journey. Cynthia was born in New York into an agnostic family. Since childhood, she was educated with the principles of freedom of thought and respect for various worldviews. Although she was very successful in her business career, there was an emptiness in her heart that could not be filled by achievements or wealth. The wealth she had was not able to answer the existential questions that always bothered her mind. Before starting her spiritual quest, Cynthia felt that her life only revolved around material and social achievements. She had everything that many people wanted: a luxurious house, a fast car, and connections with influential people. However, she felt far from true happiness. Turning point and questions about life. Cynthia's life began to change after facing a shocking event, a major defeat in the business world that had destroyed her reputation and trust in the material world. In addition, personal problems also began to emerge, forcing her to ask herself, what is the real purpose of my life? At this point, she began to search deeper into faith and religion. In her search, Cynthia met a close friend who introduced her to Islam. Her friend not only introduced her to the teachings of Islam, but also told her how this religion provides inner peace, guiding life with moral principles that highly value compassion, justice, and brotherhood. Discovery about Islam. Cynthia's openness to various belief systems led her to start reading about Islam. She started by reading the Quran, finding out about the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the history of the development of Islam, which began in Mecca in the 7th century. The more she studied, the more questions were answered. Cynthia felt connected to many of the values contained in Islamic teachings, especially about the concept of social justice and the importance of giving to others. Islam teaches a balance between the material and spiritual worlds, and for Cynthia, this was very interesting. She found that Islam is not just about carrying out rituals of worship, but also a way of life that highly respects human dignity and cares about the welfare of others. At one point, Cynthia decided to travel to several countries with large Muslim populations. She visited Turkey, Indonesia, and Morocco to better understand the practice of Islam in everyday life. This experience further deepened her faith and opened her heart to accept the teachings of Islam. Conversion and life change. After several years of study and reflection, Cynthia felt that her spiritual journey had led to an unavoidable point of conversion. She decided to embrace Islam with a conscious heart. This decision was not easy, considering her very high social status in America and the pressures from her surroundings. However, for Cynthia, the most important thing was finding inner peace that money cannot buy. Islam gave her a clear moral framework, a commitment to live more simply and give more to others. "I feel more alive after embracing Islam," she said in an interview. "It's like there's the peace I've been looking for. I feel closer to God and understand my purpose in life better." Implementing Islamic teachings in business and social life. After embracing Islam, Cynthia began to change her perspective on wealth and business. She realized that the purpose of life is not just to increase wealth, but to provide benefits to others. In her business, she applies Islamic principles such as justice, honesty, and transparency. In addition, she is more active in social and philanthropic activities that focus on women's empowerment and poverty alleviation. Cynthia is also committed to deepening her religious knowledge and becoming a source of inspiration for many people, especially women. She is active in various discussion forums and seminars that discuss how Islamic principles can be applied in everyday life, both in personal and professional contexts. Accepting a new identity. Cynthia's spiritual journey is not only about finding Islam, but also accepting a new identity as a Muslim woman. In a highly competitive business world, she had to face challenges in overcoming stereotypes and negative perceptions of Muslim women. However, she took these challenges as opportunities to change people's views of women in Islam. Cynthia often talks about how Islam gave her a greater sense of responsibility towards herself and others. In her view, every individual should strive to live with integrity, not only for personal gain, but for the happiness of all. In every step of her life, she strives to be an example that wealth and success should be used to have a positive impact on the world. Steps towards Islam. After months of reading and studying Islamic teachings, Cynthia felt her heart increasingly drawn to make a change. She began interacting with the local Muslim community, attending religious study groups, and taking introductory Islamic classes. The more she learned about Islam, the greater her desire to say the 2 sentences of the Shahada, the statement of faith that is the main requirement for someone to embrace Islam. On a quiet day in the month of Ramadan, Cynthia decided to say the Shahada in front of an imam. She felt like she had found the peace she had been looking for so long. A feeling of relief and deep happiness flowed through her. This process not only changed her identity spiritually, but also gave her life a new direction. Cynthia's background. Cynthia was born into a middle-class family in one of the big cities in America. Since she was little, she has shown extraordinary potential in academics and business. At a young age, Cynthia began to plunge into the world of business and quickly succeeded in building her own business empire. Her success in the business world brought her extraordinary wealth, making her a young billionaire known throughout the world. However, behind all that success, Cynthia felt that something was missing in her life. She felt empty, even though she had everything: wealth, fame, and success. This feeling began to bother her, and she felt that there was a deeper search, a deeper meaning in the life she was living. The search for spirituality, the desire to find a deeper meaning in life, led Cynthia to start searching in various spiritual teachings. She studied various religions, including Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. However, although she found many interesting things, none of the teachings truly met her spiritual needs. One day, Cynthia met a Muslim who worked at one of her companies. Their conversation about Islam caught Cynthia's interest. Her Muslim friend explained about the teachings of Islam, belief in the one God, Allah, and a simpler and more meaningful life from an Islamic perspective. These in-depth discussions made Cynthia even more interested. The discovery of Islam. Finally, after months of reading, studying, and discussing Islam, Cynthia felt her heart was called to embrace Islam. She felt that Islam provided the answers she had been looking for, a very clear and comprehensive concept of God, life, and purpose in life. In Islam, she found an inner peace that she could not find in other teachings. Cynthia decided to embrace Islam wholeheartedly. She recited the Shahada, declared herself a Muslim, and began a new journey in her life. This change was not easy for her, considering her background far from the Islamic world and her social life full of pressure from the public. Lifestyle changes. After embracing Islam, Cynthia's life changed drastically. She began to rearrange her priorities in life. Wealth and business success, which had previously been her main focus, were no longer her goals in life. She realized that her purpose in life was to worship Allah and help others, and to seek blessings in all aspects of her life. Cynthia also began to carry out Islamic religious obligations, such as performing the 5 daily prayers, fasting during the month of Ramadan, and paying Zakat. She felt that a simple life, with a focus on worship and helping others, gave her much deeper happiness and peace than the life she used to live. Challenges faced. Of course, Cynthia's journey as a Muslim in a world where the majority of the population is not Muslim was not easy. She had to face many challenges, both from within herself and from her surroundings. Her figure, which is widely known as a billionaire woman from the United States, made her change a focus of the media and the public. Some people even doubted her intentions and sincerity in embracing Islam. However, Cynthia remained steadfast in her beliefs. She began to actively organize in the Muslim community and tried to introduce Islam to the people around her. Through a wise and compassionate approach, she managed to change many people's views about Islam. Bringing the message of Islam to the world, Cynthia realized that she had a large platform as a billionaire. Therefore, she decided to use her wealth and influence for a greater purpose, namely preaching Islam and helping people in need. She founded various foundations that focus on education, social assistance, and interfaith understanding. One of the biggest projects she initiated was a program to empower Muslim women around the world. The program aims to provide access to education and skills training to women, especially in developing countries, so that they can be independent and have a greater role in society. Islam as a source of strength in life and business. After becoming a Muslim, Cynthia found that the teachings of Islam provided a peace that could not be found in the harsh world of business. One aspect that she felt most was the principle of social justice and responsibility towards others. Islam teaches its followers to care for the poor, orphans, and those who are oppressed. The concept of Zakat, which requires Muslims to give a portion of their wealth to those in need, had a major impact on the way Cynthia runs her business and uses her wealth. Cynthia also found peace in prayer, which helped her stay focused and connected to God in every aspect of her life, including business. With a strong foundation in Islamic teachings, she became more confident in approaching every challenge in life with calm and wisdom. Islam and the courage to change. Before embracing Islam, Cynthia was an entrepreneur who was very focused on material achievement and success. However, as her life journey progressed, she began to feel a deep sense of dissatisfaction. Although all worldly achievements were before her, Cynthia felt that there was something more important than just money and popularity. She felt that a deeper spiritual search was the way to go. This is where Islam came into her life, providing a different perspective on life and the business world. Islam teaches principles that are very relevant to the business world, such as honesty, fairness, transparency, and caring for others. These principles gave Cynthia the courage to change her perspective and embark on a spiritual journey that not only changed her, but also the way she ran her business. The power of tawakkul. Surrendering the results to Allah. One important concept in Islam that gave Cynthia incredible strength is tawakkul, or surrendering the results to Allah after doing our best. In the business world, many things are beyond our control, such as market conditions, competition, and other external factors. However, Cynthia learned to always try her best and not be burdened by the results, because she understood that everything is in Allah's control. This tawakkul gave Cynthia inner peace, allowing her to stay focused and calm despite the great challenges in the business world. With tawakkul, She does not feel anxious or overly worried about failure because she knows that she has tried her best, and the result is the destiny of Allah. The principle of tawakkul also motivates Cynthia to never give up, even in the most difficult situations. When a company faces a setback or when there is a very difficult business decision, Cynthia always reminds herself to do her best and then leave the results to Allah. This gives her the mental and emotional strength to remain steadfast and move forward. Honesty and integrity in business. Islam emphasizes the importance of honesty and integrity in all aspects of life, including in the business world. Cynthia feels that these values are very important in building a business that is not only financially successful, but also dignified. In business, there is often the temptation to take shortcuts or cheat. However, Islam reminds us that honesty is part of faith, and it is a quality that must be upheld by every Muslim, including in the business world. Cynthia also decided to run her business with full integrity, trying to always maintain transparency and honesty in every transaction and business decision. She avoids all forms of injustice or fraud because she knows that it will not only harm others, but will also have a bad impact on her in this world and the hereafter. Cynthia's business life based on the principle of honesty has helped her build a strong reputation in the business world. Many people appreciate her business ethics and feel comfortable working with her. This honesty also makes her business last long and continue to grow because she establishes good and mutually beneficial relationships with business partners and customers. Sharing provisions, Zakat, and philanthropy. One important aspect in the life of a Muslim is the obligation to pay Zakat, which is to give part of one's wealth to those in need. Cynthia, after embracing Islam, felt that Zakat was an inseparable part of her success in business. She considered that the wealth she obtained was not only hers, but also a mandate that must be distributed to those who were less fortunate. Cynthia not only pays Zakat regularly, but is also active in various philanthropic activities. She founded a foundation that helps provide education and health services for underprivileged communities. Through her philanthropic activities, Cynthia feels that she can combine two important aspects of her life: business success and charity for others. By sharing her fortune, Cynthia felt that her wealth was not only growing materially, but also growing spiritually. She felt that the success of her business was not only for herself, but to bring goodness to many people. This further strengthened her position in her social and spiritual life. Business with a purpose. Blessings in every step. Islam teaches that everything that is done must have a greater purpose than just worldly profit. Every effort, whether in personal life or in business, must aim to achieve the blessings and pleasure of Allah. For Cynthia, business is no longer just about making money, but also about how the business can benefit society and have a positive impact on the world. Islam teaches about the importance of good intentions in every action. Cynthia began to view her business as a means to seek blessings in life, both for herself and for others. With good intentions, she is convinced that every effort she makes will have a positive impact, not only in the world, but also in the afterlife. A new life based on faith. After embracing Islam, Cynthia's life was no longer the same. She began to live her life in a simpler and more meaningful way. Islam teaches us to always maintain a relationship with Allah through worship, be it the 5 daily prayers, fasting during the month of Ramadan, or other acts of worship. Cynthia began to integrate Islamic teachings into every aspect of her life, and this helped her feel more connected to God and to others. One of the significant changes that Cynthia experienced was her perspective on wealth. As a billionaire, she realized that the wealth she owned was not entirely her personal property, but rather a trust that must be managed wisely and used for good. In Islam, one of the obligations for the rich is to pay Zakat, which is to give part of her wealth to those in need. Cynthia began to focus more on giving and sharing with others. She founded various foundations that aim to help those who are less fortunate, especially in the fields of education and health. Changing priorities in life. Before embracing Islam, Cynthia's life was very focused on business success and personal achievement. However, after embracing Islam, she began to rearrange her life priorities. Although business remains an important part of her life, she realizes that her purpose in life is not only to gain wealth, but to gain Allah's pleasure and do good for humanity. Praying 5 times a day has become a very important routine in her life. Every day, Cynthia takes time to worship, pray, and reflect. This routine of worship gives her great peace and helps reduce the stress and pressure that comes with being in a highly competitive business world. She feels more balanced between her work, personal life, and spiritual obligations. Islam teaches balance in life, between this world and the hereafter, and Cynthia feels that this is the right way to live. Facing life's challenges and trials. Although her life has changed for the better, Cynthia realizes that her spiritual journey has not always been easy. Being a Muslim in a predominantly non-Muslim society, especially in a highly competitive business world, is a challenge in itself. Some people around her even questioned her decision to embrace Islam. However, Cynthia remains steadfast in her beliefs. She understands that life's trials are part of destiny, and she believes that Allah will not give trials beyond the capabilities of His people. In addition, Cynthia learned to face all forms of criticism and challenges with patience and trust. In Islam, trust teaches us to try our best and then leave the results to Allah. Cynthia applies this principle in every aspect of her life, both in business, family, and her social life. She feels stronger and wiser in facing life's challenges because she believes that every test is an opportunity to improve ourselves and get closer to Allah. Business based on Islamic ethics. One of the most significant aspects of Cynthia's life after embracing Islam is the change in the way she runs her business. Previously, in the business world, she focused on profit and material success. However, after embracing Islam, she began to run her business with principles that prioritize ethics and morals. Islam teaches that every transaction must be carried out honestly, transparently, and fairly. Practices such as usury, interest, which are not allowed in Islam, are very important to adhere to in business. Cynthia instills these values in every company she manages. Honesty and integrity are the basic principles in every business decision. In addition, she also pays attention to the welfare of her employees and business partners by ensuring that all parties are treated fairly and there is no exploitation. According to Cynthia, a business run on Islamic principles not only brings blessings, but also strengthens better relationships with customers, partners, and employees. She sees that success in a business based on Islamic ethics has a much greater positive impact, both in this world and in the hereafter. Sharing knowledge and experience with the world. Cynthia's life after embracing Islam also involves sharing experiences and knowledge with others. She is an inspiration to many people, especially those who feel trapped in a materialistic life and are looking for inner peace. Through various platforms and social media, Cynthia shares her spiritual journey and how Islam has changed her life. She also started initiating various projects aimed at introducing Islamic values to the wider community. In addition, she founded an educational institution that focuses on spreading knowledge about Islam, helping people to understand this religion better, without prejudice and misunderstanding. Cynthia believes that education is the key to reducing misunderstanding and increasing tolerance between religious communities. Conclusion. Cynthia's life after embracing Islam is an extraordinary journey of transformation. From a billionaire who only focused on worldly wealth and success, she became a wiser, calmer, and more compassionate person. Islam gave her a new meaning in life, helped her find true inner peace, and guided her in living a more balanced life between the world and the hereafter. With Islamic principles applied in her personal and business life, Cynthia not only achieved material success, but also found true happiness that comes from a close relationship with Allah. He proved that success in life is not only measured by how much wealth one has, but also by how much benefit one can give to others and how sincerely one lives one's life with full faith.